first day? Sound guy. That was a inside joke between me and you.
Dump Trump! Dump Trump! Dump Trump! Dump Trump! Dump Trump!
Are you getting audio from the...
I did when they just played like some
Just want to nudge it a tiny bit.
music.
You want to go through here?
No, I can sit there.
But not right now.
Lovely cameras. Are you all ready?
We're ready!
Uh-huh.
Just straight ahead. Straight ahead, please.
You need to go around this side of me. Just let me know.
One more straight ahead, please. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you guys lose your audio?
Yes. No,
I heard it a second ago. They may have just turned the mic off.
Can we get one more straight ahead, please? Everybody together. One more eye straight ahead, please. Everybody together. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Katie Bethel, and I'm the Executive Director of Move On. Move On is one of the largest progressive advocacy organizations in the country. We're a force of millions with members in every congressional district in America. And on behalf of our members and our co-hosts, the Midas Touch Network, it is my privilege to welcome you to the People's State of the Union. Some of you may know that giving a State of the Union address, or at least a report, is part of the job of the president. It's constitutionally required. So in a great shift, Donald Trump is following the law tonight.
Surprise!
So why are we boycotting? Why are we boycotting the State of the Union? We're boycotting because we know that Donald Trump's State of the Union will bear no resemblance to what's actually happening in this country today.
Yes.
He will lie, distort, and ignore the real stories. He's not going to talk about the killings of innocent people. He's not going to talk about the thousands of people who are afraid every day because of ICE roaming their streets. He's not going to talk about the victims of Jeffrey Epstein. And he will not talk about the millions of people who've lost their health care on his watch. But Move On members, the millions of people who've been protesting at No King's protests, the American people, we know the true state of our union. We've seen it and we're living it, and it is not normal. We've asked our leaders this last year, don't treat this like business as usual. Fight for us. Folks, tonight, we're coming out swinging. And we're making history with the largest organized boycott of any State of the Union ever. Behind me on this stage are members of Congress and their guests who have all personally experienced the harms of the Trump administration. They represent millions more. They represent all of us. I want to personally thank our members of Congress here tonight for your act of defiance, for breaking a norm to stand up for our values. And I want to thank our special guests who you're going to hear from tonight for your courage. You represent the best of America, and you make us all want to be brave. This moment is only possible because of people's bravery. The first boycott of the State of the Union was conducted by the founders of the Congressional Black Caucus during the Nixon administration. We honor their example. We honor the millions of patriots who've turned out over the last year in marches across this country. And we honor every person who showed up, who's risked something, who's cared for a neighbor, even when it was safer to do nothing. That courage led the way to this moment, but we have to make sure that the road doesn't stop here. We need you, everybody joining us here on the Capitol Mall tonight, and everybody watching online. Come to the March 28th No Kings protest and stand up for this country. Before I introduce our hosts for tonight, I just want to give a special thanks to all of the people behind the scenes who helped to make tonight happen. Move On staff, the staff who serve, our congressional representatives and senators here tonight, our partners, thank you so much. This is no small task to put on a historic event to fight for our country. Thank you. And now, I'd like to introduce you to our hosts, independent journalists Joy Reid and Katie Fang. And while they come to the stage, I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for being brave, and I want to thank you for being a part of building the America we can all be proud of. Thank you.
Are you guys excited to be here? Come on, I am Joy Reid, host of the Joy Reid Show.
And I'm Katie Fang, host of the Katie Fang News Channel.
And we are both exes of the artist formerly known as MSNBC. We are so excited to be here. Please give one more round of applause to these members
of Congress.
The reason that I am so excited to be here is that, as we just heard from the wonderful folks at Move On and Midas Touch, please give them a round of applause. It takes courage to stand out.
It does. And look, if you turn around and you look amongst us, it's not just the people that are here. It's hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people in the United States and across the world that are defending democracy, but they need the courage and the bravery of our members of Congress and our electeds to make sure that democracy is defended.
Indeed. And so tonight we are not going to hear a false State of the Union. We are going to hear the true state of our union from the people who are being impacted by the policies that are taking place at the hands of someone who has demonstrated no love for the Constitution, for the truth, or for the care and concern of the American people. It's much more important to hear what people are truly facing and going through. That's what you're going to hear tonight.
The American people deserve the truth. They do not need more lies from this regime. So tonight you are going to hear people that have been impacted directly by the bullshit of this administration.
And because I'm also a church girl.
Sorry, Jordan, for my language.
Oh no, I'm a cussing Christian, sis. It's all good. I'm a cussing Christian. But we want to start off this night by doing something that I think is so important, Katie.
Please.
And that is reclaiming the Christian voice from white Christian nationalism, which not only threatens our freedom, but also threatens a very important faith throughout this world. Christianity is not what you have been sold by Project 2025. So right now, to do our invocation, meaning we're going to invoke the spirit of freedom, liberty, and justice. Please put your hands together for the Reverend Paul Brandeis Rauschenbusch.
Thank you, Joy and Katie. Hello, everybody. Hello, America. Let me start by saying that my soul is so glad to be here with the People's State of the Union. I come to you as the president of Interfaith Alliance and as a Baptist minister with good news. We, the people, have the power. Is that good news? Yeah! All across America, people of diverse faiths and beliefs are showing up, are speaking out, and are proving that love for our neighbors and commitment to our democracy will prevail against the cruelty, immorality, and authoritarianism of this administration. Let me speak plainly as an American and as a Baptist minister. The Trump administration is the most hostile to religious freedom in generations. They attack any religious leader or community not in lockstep with their political agenda. The White House, the Pentagon, the Department of Justice, and ICE have weaponized religion for their white Christian nationalist crusade, which attempts to define who is a true American, conveniently made in their own image, and relegate all the rest of us to second-class status. While President Lincoln famously prayed to be on God's side, Trump instead blasphemously boasts that God is in fact on his side. In Trump's mind, God is little more than a divine mascot for his political team.
Well said.
But enough about that unpopular man. Tonight we will focus and celebrate the people of America. Tonight we will recognize all those to whom harm has been done. But we will also give thanks for the brave witness of the faith and community leaders in Minnesota, in Chicago, in Charlotte, in Portland, and here in Washington, D.C., and in towns large and small everywhere across America who are standing up against the abuse and inhumanity of ICE. We give thanks for every single person around this country who has put their faith or values into action by resisting government-sanctioned cruelty with moral courage and solidarity with our neighbors from every background. We give thanks to God for the power and the promise of love, and what Dr. King called the beloved community that is both coming and present now if we choose to make it real in our democracy. I believe we are in the midst of the next great awakening in America, a spiritual movement dedicated to creating a nation where every person has dignity and value, where every community and faith tradition is treated equally, and nobody gets left behind this time. We, the people, have the power out of many through love. May we be one. My friends, the spiritual state of our union is strong. So help us God. Amen.
Y'all should be well in the spirit at this point. Is everybody in the spirit? That's what I'm talking about. That's right. We're going to call the spirit of our ancestors to make sure that we do justice on tonight. And we are going to start with one of the true fighters in the United States Senate and his very important guest. So please put your hands together for Senator Chris Murphy and Thank you.
Good evening, America. I want you first to give a big round of applause to my guest, refugee and immigrant advocate from Connecticut, Farishte Ganjave. Okay, so I am not at the State of the Union speech tonight because Donald Trump is making a mockery of this great institution, and he doesn't deserve an audience. I'm not at the State of the Union speech tonight because these are not normal times, and Democrats have to stop behaving normally. And I'm not at the State of the Union speech tonight because you're not going to hear about the State of the Union. You are going to hear lie after lie. You are going to hear attack after attack. You are going to see grandstanding. The true State of the Union is this. This union is in crisis right now. Our cities are under attack by lawless law enforcement. Our democracy is wilting under ceaseless attack from a president who wants to be a despot. Millions of Americans are losing their health care because the president has chosen corruption to pad the pockets of his billionaire friends instead of helping average Americans. You're not going to hear any of that in that speech tonight. But by being here for the People's State of the Union, you are going to hear the real story of America, a story of an America that is under siege, but a story of America that is not going to take it, that is going to fight back, and is going to reclaim this country for everything that is good and right about the United States of America. Bearish Day is going to talk to you tonight about the state of immigrant and refugee America. ICE is out of control. It is disappearing legal immigrants. It is tear gassing elementary schools. It is murdering American citizens. Right now, as you know, the Department of Homeland Security is shut down. And I just want to be very clear with you about my position, and I think the position of many others who will stand on this stage tonight. Not one more dime to the Department of Homeland Security until they start following the law in this country. Bearish Day came to this country over a decade ago, coming to the United States from a refugee camp. She told me just off stage that this is the moment. This is the reason that she came here to the United States, to speak truth to power, to explain the trials and tribulations that every immigrant, that every refugee goes through to get here, and to press this country to border! I stuck at the border. Go Trump! Go Trump! Bearish Day is here to lift us up to a common purpose and to a common goal, to understand that the best of America lies in how we treat those who have arrived to this country fleeing terror and torture and desperation. We have work to do, guys. We have a mission that we need to complete. And I want you to welcome to the podium my friend, Bearish Day Conchavez.
Good evening, everyone. Since arriving in the United States as a refugee in 2011, I have educated more than 7,000 refugees, especially women entering the workforce, now thriving as educators, health workers, and essential service providers, each becoming a lighthouse for others. Partnering with over 100 universities across the country and help young students launch career in embassies, public services, leadership programs, and enter to the top medical and law schools. For years, I advocated for immigration rights. I founded Elena's Light, an organization to support families in Connecticut. And I'm proud of work over the years that we did. Thank you. I'm here today, now standing next to my favorite senator, Senator Murphy, to speak with the voice I'm so proud of. Since the recent election, my phone has not stopped ringing. Mothers have called me asking if it is safe to go to my child's appointment. Women have asked if they should cancel English classes after Afghan families and many immigrant families are confused about their legal status and afraid to travel for work even within their own states. Fear is not abstract. It is in our classrooms. It is in our clinics. It is in our homes. Families feel unstable. We are living in uncertain society these days. Because of this, advocacy in Connecticut has shifted. Organizations on the ground like ours are spending more time on Know Your Rights training. Policies are shifted quickly, and we must help families with rapid response needs. Helping families with documentation for when their family members get kidnapped. And working closely with legal and health partners to support families struggling after Trump's healthcare cuts. But as hard as we try, we cannot replace health insurance. That our elderly, our children, our people with disability can no longer access. We cannot guarantee safety or peace of mind for the worker who keeps our communities running every day. This administration needs to stop separating families. Mothers, kids, and our future generation who will become our caretaker, our lawyers, our teachers, and our politicians. Our community members need safety and peace of mind to work. Leadership matters at the federal levels. We need real leaders. We need a stable federal support for integration and mental and medical health services. And we need policies rooted in dignity and education. As families can focus on building our shared community and future. When families feel secure, they build. When mothers feel safe, they live. When children feel stable, they dream. And when we protect our people, we strengthen the entire nation. This is not politics. This is humanity. This is America.
Everybody, one note, we just want to do sort of one housekeeping note. Attention all MAGA trolls. And with apologies to the pastor who gave the invocation, your bullshit is not welcome here. And to paraphrase one of my favorite actors in the world, Robert De Niro, I'm going to slightly paraphrase him. Ow! Fuck y'all. We're here to hear the truth and to hear from impacted people, not to see or hear from you. So go back and pay attention to your orange lying friend. Woo! Now, coming to the stage is one of the reasons that we are finally getting some of those files released. Everybody say, release the files. Release the files. Release the files. Coming to the stage now is Pennsylvania's Fighting 12. Representative Summer Lee. She is one of the main reasons that we're getting some of those files. She's going to be reading a story from Monica Ruiz, the executive director of Casa San Jose, waiting to keep families together and reform our unjust immigration system, all while her family is now being impacted by ICE. Representative Lee.
Thank you.
Whew. What a start to the evening. But good evening one way or another. I am Summer Lee, representing Pennsylvania's 12th Congressional District, and I'm proud to stand here this evening with Move On, with organizers, with workers, and with everyday people who refuse to sit quietly while our country is pushed to the brink. Right now, Donald Trump is preparing to deliver his made-up version of the State of the Union. He's going to tell a familiar story tonight, that the economy is booming, that our communities are safer, and that America is communities because corruption doesn't check your voter registration before it robs you. Well, they're terrorizing immigrant communities right now. They're cutting health care. They're gutting worker protection. They're union busting. They're handing tax breaks to billionaires and sending the bill to the rest of us. That's the con. That's the scam. And working people are done falling for it. Tonight, I was supposed to be joined by my good friend and neighbor, Monica Ruiz. Monica is a mother, a community organizer, and a powerful advocate for immigrants' rights. She was ready to bring that fight from Pittsburgh to DC to remind folks who and what she has been fighting for relentlessly. But right now, Monica's family is in crisis as it's being targeted by ICE. Her son-in-law, Victor, was followed by agents unprompted after he dropped his brother off at work. They pulled him over without cause. There was no traffic violation, no expired tag, just a man who looked brown enough to be dragged to one of the worst detention centers in the country. Meanwhile, just the other day, Monica's daughter, Adriana, just gave birth to a baby girl who is yet to meet her father because he's been locked up by this lawless agency. Victor has been in the country for 18 years. 18 years of working to build a life for himself, his loved ones, and now his new family. That is the real state of our union, where families are being torn apart and traumatized, where corporations get more say in our democracy than the people we elect, where the government would rather protect powerful people and the Epstein files than the women and the girls who were sexually abused. We live in a country where we have one reality for everyday people and another for the rich and the well-connected and the well-protected. We have to change that. We have to meet the moment with bold policies that level the playing field and deliver justice no matter how much money you have to your name. That's why earlier today, I announced that I'll be introducing articles of impeachment against Pam Bondi. To obstruct justice and refusing to comply with our subpoena to release the full, unredacted Epstein files. Bondi must be held accountable for that. It was Trump who said it first, release the files. So we'll keep that call up no matter what. Because where I come from in Western Pennsylvania, we know what it means to be abandoned by politicians who make big promises and lie and deliver nothing. We know what it's like when the factories close, when the hospitals cut services, when the schools can't afford to teach, when the corporations are given permission to poison our water, our air, and our communities without consequences. And we know that no matter what language you speak, what zip code you live in, we all feel that pain, and we are all being squeezed by the same rigged system. So when Trump points the fingers at immigrants, our trans kids, our protesters, our journalists, understand what he's doing. He's trying to make sure we never point the finger where it belongs, at the billionaires and the corporations looting our economy, robbing our people, and buying our democracy right from under us. But here's the truth that they're afraid of. Working people are waking up. Across this country, folks are organizing, labor and their money. They're refusing to be silent in the face of authoritarianism. But we know fear is their weapon, but solidarity is our power. So tonight, while Trump paints his fantasy version of America, we're grounded in America, in reality, and we're building something better. An America where we have Medicare for all, every job that pays a living wage, where no one fears being ripped away from their family. That is the America we're fighting for. And later tonight, I'll be delivering the Working Families Party response to the State of the Union, laying out exactly what it will take to build an economy and a democracy that works for all of us, not just the working few. So I'm asking you to stay engaged, stay fired up, and tune in tonight, because this is about building a movement that is big enough to defeat authoritarianism, to stand up to corporate power, and rooted in a simple belief that when working people come together across race, across geography, and across whatever lines they try to divide us by, we are unstoppable. So all power to the people, and thank you all for being with us tonight.
Hell yeah, that's how we do it. Coming up next, a man who doesn't suffer fools from the great state of Arizona. We've got Senator Ruben Gallego. He's going to be talking about a man by the name of Steve Gomez. Steve is a father of 3 from Gilbert, Arizona, and for the last 5 years, Steve and his family have relied on the Affordable Care Act marketplace for their insurance. But let me be clear. Because of Republicans and Donald Trump's big bullshit bill, now Steve has to decide what he's going to cut to be able to afford health care for his child. Senator Ruben Gallego.
Listen, you know how important this is? I'm from Arizona. This is cool. But let's be clear what's happening there. They want to call that the State of the Union. It is the state of denial. Because what's going to happen under that Capitol is a bunch of lies. Lies that Donald Trump and the Republicans are going to tell us about how great this country is doing right now. But what is true, what is happening right now is that Donald Trump and the Republicans have made this country sicker, poorer, and less secure. Sicker, poorer, and less secure. How did it start? As soon as they got in there, what did they do? They went and they cut Medicaid and they cut food stamps. Millions of Americans right now are without health care. The poorest of our country are trying to figure out how to make ends meet and how to pay for that grocery bill because they needed an extra $1 billion for their billionaire friends. And when they had whatever money they had left over, then they used it to hire the most amount of ICE agents, to have the massive amount of deportations we have now that are also targeting U.S. citizens, racial profiling Americans, arresting Latino veterans and telling them you are not part of this country and make them prove that they're Americans when nobody asked to prove our citizenship when they were sending us to war for this country. Sicker, and more secure, less secure. Let me tell you what else. Every day, every American is trying to figure out how to buy food, how to pay rent, how to pay that mortgage, how to get a car, and this president has done nothing to help that. $1,000 per average every American has to pay for his tax increases. And now, the corporations are going to get all their money back. Is every American going to get a refund for the $1,000 mistake that this president did? No. Not only that, he's going to double down. He's going to say, screw you, Supreme Court. I want to do 15% tax, and guess what? All of you Americans are going to pay for it. And now we have to figure out again, how are we going to pay for our rent? How are we going to pay for electricity? How are we going to actually pay for everyday food? We are poorer because of Donald Trump and the Republicans. And let's talk about security. Let's talk about security. In 2 weeks, 2 Americans were gunned down by federal mass agents. In front of our eyes, in front of your eyes, and then they try to lie to you. You saw it with your own eyes, 2 Americans expressing their First Amendment rights, and they said to you that they deserve to die. 2 Americans. 2,000 federal agents, mass federal agents, suppressing citizens in Minnesota, acting as if they're a military occupation. You do not military occupy anything in any part of this country. Those are U.S. citizens. They deserve the right to free speech. They deserve the right to say there's something wrong in my community, and they deserve the right to protect themselves and say, I will not stand for this. I will revoke my First Amendment rights and get out of my city. to lie to you. And I'm not saying this just because I'm just another politician. I'm telling you because I have heard it. We talked about Steve Gomez. Steve Gomez wanted to do everything he could not to have to accept subsidies for his kids. He wants to provide. He wants to continue to have his personal business. He wants to be a responsible citizen. Now he has to make that decision. He has to make a decision right now. Will I continue to pay for this very expensive health care, or will I gamble? Will I pay for my health care, or will I pay the mortgage? That decision was forced upon him by an uncaring Republican administration, by an uncaring Trump, who only wants to find more and more money to give more and more tax cuts to the richest of the country that do not need it right now. They're making us sicker, poorer, and less secure. Let's change that, America. We are better than what is under that Capitol right now. We can make this country, again, the best country in the world, where everyone is richer, where everyone is more secure, and we are proud of everyday work that we can say that America is getting better, will be better, and will one day be the best. Thank you so much. Stay in the fight.
Garcia. How many of you guys remember? Well, coming to the stage is the man who had the courage, the cojones to go and find him at CTOC. And, oh, look at that. My fans are back. What I always say is, you know who I am, and I don't know who you are. That means you're a fan, you're a fan, you're a fan, you're a fan. Keep on standing there, because I don't know who the hell you are, but you know me. Hallelujah, keep on being my fan. Well, coming to the stage is the great Chris Van Hollen, Senator Chris Van Hollen of the great state of Maryland. He'll be joined by Jenna Norton, a public health scientist focused on health equity and data standards to improve health outcomes in kidney and urologic diseases. She was a lead organizer of the Bethesda Declaration, a whistleblower letter to the NIH director and members of Congress detailing this harm. In November 2025, she was placed on retaliatory administrative leave. So you're going to want to give her a major round of applause. Senator Van Hollen.
Hello, American patriots all. We are gathered here in this place because we love our country. And we know that our democracy is not on automatic pilot. And we know that we, the people, must mobilize to save it. Are you out here to save